didn't signal, that's all. I thought it was going straight on. Oh, this is Castleton. Get over. Get over. Fucking hell.
In 200 yards, leave the roundabout at the second exit.
Why do I go so fast up the roads like this?
Speed to these roads.
It's a week.
Leave at the second exit. Now leave the roundabout and then turn right. Now turn right and then right.
Well, see it. Why are we going that way?
Now turn right and then...
I think you put the wrong
I
one in.
haven't. I put the one right one in. The one that I always put in.
Well, why has it done it? It's turned right.
No idea. I bet there is a way through that way, but we don't go that way, do we?
That's a nice little shot there, Gareth. So
Oh, you've said.
Yeah, we're going into Castleton.
Yeah, well, what we're doing. We don't.
Might be.
Where's your bucket in?
Where's campsite down here?
In 200 yards, turn left and then please make a U-turn if
I'll
possible.
get lost.
You put the wrong one
I
in.
haven't put the wrong one in. Castleton, caravan and camping. Caravan and motoring. Website. It's up here somewhere, isn't it? No, it is also just past here. There, look. It's pretty good thing, isn't it?
I'm getting ready to put a little camp.
Once we get here, have a look above you. See big white blobs. And these basically flowstone, calcium carbonate dripping down the limestone over thousands of years, hardening up, makes them pretty funky looking shapes. The best one being the dragon's head there. See its eye? Yeah. It's mouth and its other eye. Now right next to it, you've got a seal. You see that there? Give it a bit of a wave. Does love a good wave because it's a seal, obviously. Try my best there. No, just round this corner. Use your imagination for this one. Just up here. You'll see a cow's face, possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Neither can I.
Well, see through live.
So we've got a couple of stairs we need to go down. Please just take your time as you come down. You'll have a lot of school children looking at your bottom soon. So, any ideas what this could be? Any ideas? No. Right. So this is a boat. This was used, I know it's slightly worrying, big hole in the bottom. This was used by the Victorians, basically a little bit further down there, just where my light is. Yeah. They get on the boat down there, and then they'd be pushed. They'd be pushed through further on into the cave systems until they get to a point where it's basically a very, very narrow roof. Say narrow, the roof gets up to about there. So in here, you'd have to go like this, lay on your back. It's a bit like a coffin. You'd have a tallow candle in your hand so you could see, and there'd be a bit of straw in here for a bit of comfort. Obviously, it doesn't sound like a good idea, that, but no one got burnt alive. So.
Coffin crossed my mind when you said, what is it? I don't know.
So, they've been pushed through that space. Now, that all changed, but luckily we're not going to do that, when Queen Victoria came down there. She got to this boat and she's like, no, I'm not getting on it. So, instead, she turned back around, went to Castleton. She then got invited back down again. She's like, okay, I'll come down, but I'm not getting on the boat. So, what the rope makers did is they got a load of explosives, a load of black powder, and they blasted her a small tunnel. She could go through there instead. It's known as Queen Victoria's Back Passage. It's what we go through today. It's very narrow. It's very stinky as well. I've had a couple of omelettes today, so apologies for that. Now, as we head on a little bit further down, along the roof, there's a fossilised brain coral. Funky looking pattern here. The fossilised brain coral that's here is 200 million years ago. All this used to be underwater. It used to be a coral reef. It used to have tropical fish, tropical sharks, the occasional surfer dude with a kind of phosphorus. I've never seen that fossilised before, but I'm holding out hope. There you go. It's pretty big fossil. Shoots all the way over there as well. You can see. Let's come a little bit further down. You'll see the hole in the roof, and it sounds extremely exciting. Try and make it sound more. Just above your head. So what you're looking at here is huge bits. This here is known as an avon. So it's not an Avon, it's not where you sell your makeup. This is basically where water has reacted with lots of pressure and it's shot up. Under the pressure, it's a bit like a jet wash on steroids. Cutting its way through the stone, eventually going up that way. There's quite a few of these as we go further through. Really easy to spot, it's just a hole in the roof. Point a few more out to you as we go along. Also, you may have noticed a couple of fern bushes. Basically, it's good conditions for them. The humidity that's down here, the light against the wall. Also, life finds a way, if you've ever watched Jurassic Park. Seeds coming off our clothes, all that jazz. Around the corner, we've got the arse itself. I don't think they've wiped properly, but I'll still show you anyway. It gets the name the arse because, well, pretty much it farts. The reason it farts is due to the fact that behind this wall here, you have a sump, which is just like a big hole. This sump is filled with air. And as soon as the water level gets up to about here, not up there, up to about here, when it floods, that air is under a lot of pressure. And as soon as the water goes back down, the air will try and escape. And with that pressure, with it trying to escape, it kind of bubbles up a little bit against the water, and that's it farting. Now that's normally what happens. Every now and again, once in a blue moon, you get a fart so loud. It rips a hole from the space-time continuum out into Castleton, and it smashes a couple of windows. If you believe that, you believe anything. So. Now, to the right-hand side here, this is Lumbago Walk. This is the lowest point of the tour. As you go through here, you've got to watch your heads. If you don't, it's going to hurt. So, stick to the left-hand side here, because that's the highest point. The right's a little bit low. Follow me. Okay. Just take your time through here, don't rush. There are no rushes whatsoever. Are you okay, you two?
Yes.
Yeah. Just take your time. No good. Stand up now. Not all the way.
It's a bit better.
Okay. So the reason I've stopped off here for just a second is this is where the Victorians would have come to on their boat. Then they would have been pushed through there. So where that grid is. The grid's there now to keep three things in. Demons, cavers and school children. Class them all as the same thing, yes. Especially school children. So they would have gone through there and then they would have gone into the Grand Cavern. Now for us to get to there, we've got to go through the back passage. So follow me up through the passage. Just cover your nose a little bit as well. Okay? All right then. be glad to know we've got to go back through there. There we go. Right then. So, what we're stood in here, this is the Grand Cabin. The Victorians, they would have got off their boat, just where we've just come from, a little bit to the right hand side though. And then they would have been met with a small stream running through here. This stream of water, it was a bit of a nightmare for these Victorians because, well, they're in the fancy clothing, the Gucci boots and the feather bows. They don't want to get any of that done. So what they do is they get a piggyback ride from one of the tour guides. They bring them up to the centre of the cabin here, and then the candle that they had in their hand, it would have gone out miraculously. So it would be submerged into darkness. That was their only light source. And because of this, they go into a bit of a frenzy, thinking that the devil was going to come out any second, which obviously he wasn't. You never know. So what didn't help is that the rope makers decided to play a small trick on these Victorians. See, they lined the walls with a little bit of black powder, set it off all at once, and basically it will create a huge amount of light and a huge amount of noise. More or less, the Victorians thought that something like the rapture was about to happen, and that angels were going to sweep from the sky and the devil was going to come down from below and devour them. The only way basically to stop all this from happening is by buying another candle. This candle, though, it would have cost them a little bit more than what it would have done at the start. It's a bit like Alton Towers. So a bit of a captive audience, basically. So you have to pay about 4p instead of 1 to buy this candle. They buy it, though, and then they continue to walk along the stream up that way. Before we do that, this cavern here is formed by a huge, huge body of, well, I say body of water, 2 bodies of water crashing together, forming a whirlpool. It's just lots of water spinning round and round and round. These 2 sources of water, one is, well, from where the stream used to come from, and the other one is just up there. These 2 sources of water crashed together, and over thousands of years, as the water table slowly lowered and lowered and lowered, it left through there. As it was just down there. As it was forming around in here, it did form a couple of avons. A lot of pressure shooting up. Quite big ones, these ones. Now, also just in here, another hole, just up there. You see that one there? Now that hole apparently leads all the way up to Peveril Castle. You know, a castle on the hill there. Quite a lot of people thought that was a torture hole. There's no bones up there though, so a little bit confusing. Maybe a toilet. I don't really want to test that one out though. No, I think we'll leave it. Now, as we head on round the corner, the Victorians with the fresh new candle in hand, they've been met with this green, slimy, gloopy, gelatinous, horrible snot. This snot, the Victorians thought it was the devil, picking his nose and wiping it along the wall. Sounds very magical. Sadly, that isn't the case. Instead, what it is basically a fungus that grows in caves. Now, I'll just point it out to you as we get around. It's very, very slimy. This is what barley slime. Just up here. See this?
Oh, yes.
Okay. There's another bit. Slimy, gloopy, horrible stuff. You can give it a taste if you'd like. No, fair enough. I don't blame you. Now, as we go through this passageway, the floor that we're currently stood on obviously isn't natural. It's concrete. This was put in by the BBC in the 1970s when they were filming Narnia and the Silver Chair. The reason they put it in is because a lot of the actors were kind of breaking their ankles, walking on a lot of loose stones. Yeah. As we go a little bit further on through, have a look above you, just up this way. Try not to look over. You see this right here, this is Roger Raines. This a set of two, more or less, caverns, you could say. One shooting up that way, and another one over this way. So all this water dripping down from us here, it's all coming from the surface. A lot of it, surface, a lot of it rain. Also a little bit, maybe sheep wee.
Yeah.
If it looks like iron brew, definitely don't lick it. No. Now, as we head up the staircase, once you get to the top, have a look behind you, just up there. So, just up here. And this is known as the orchestral platform. It gets that name because a group of the rope maker's children would go and sit up there. They'd wait for a torrent to come round the corner, and then they'd start to sing to them. Sounds quite nice, but these kids, they're from Derbyshire, and they're also troglodytes. So instead of sounding like, well, little angels, they sounded like little demon spawn. The only way to shut them up is by throwing lots of money at them, just like most children. And after a while, yeah, they'd be quiet. The Victorians would carry on walking, the kids would come back down, they'd pick up the money, and off they went to the pub. I don't know if that's what children actually do, but yeah, we'll leave it at that one. Now, the chamber that we're currently in does have a couple of stalactites. These stalactites, though, they're not very big. If you have a look just behind you up here. Very small. And the reason for that, apparently, is because there is a bed of volcanic rock above us. Volcanic rock's very, very hard, and also there's not a lot of calcite that drips through it. None, in fact. So any water that finds its way through, if it has got any calcite, well, it will deposit it there, but it's very light. It's not getting a lot of nutrients, these guys. So basically, they're not going to grow very fast. Stunted growth. And in fact, as it passes through the limestone, as it passes through the volcanic rock, the water actually becomes even more acidic. So, more or less, it's probably eating away at them more than it is forming them. Now, to the left here, we go just up here a little bit, we have an example of something known as fluorospar. It's not in the stone, but it's still cool to look at. This stuff right here. The fluorospar is a very, very common stone around here. Common in limestone, really. You might know this stuff a little bit better as Blue John stone. So it's Blue John without the blue. So you could call it John if you want. To me, it looks a little bit like gone off mayonnaise that you've left in the freezer for too long. Yeah, you get that? Yeah. So again, this stuff is fairly common. You find it all throughout the caves. Blue John, though, you get that at Tree Cliff and Blue John Cavern. That's about it. Round the corner now, we've got the Devil's Staircase. This is where the devil lives. I don't know if he's in today. He may be, or he may have gone to Lidl. I'm not too sure. He's doing his shopping. So, follow me around here. We'll have a look. We'll have a see. As you come round this corner, try and stick to the right-hand side as much as you can. The left is a little bit slippy. So over here. So. Okay. Okay then, so what we're looking at here, the Devil's Staircase. I don't think the devil's in today. He's left. So, the Devil's Staircase, the first thing you'll notice is the slide. This slide is obviously not natural. It was put in by the BBC again when they were filming Narnia in the Silver Chair. The idea behind this slide is so they could slide a camera down it and have someone slide down here for a good film. Now it's here today because the TSG, the Speleology Group, or cave scientists, if you want to call them They use this to slide their gear down. So things like ropes and Snickers bars mainly. Not a lot. And around the corner you've got about 16 miles worth of natural cave systems. Going through those cave systems you can get all the way up to Speedwell Cavern, which through there it's going to take you roughly around about, well, give or take 3 hours. Very damp, very wet, not very nice. Wouldn't recommend it. It's a bit damp. Instead just go to the pub. Also through there you've got Titan Cavern, which to get to Titan Cavern from here it's going to take you about 12 hours. So even worse, yeah, just go to the pub. Now finally, down there you've got a small stream of water. That stream of water is a lot of water coming from the cave systems running out into the River Styx, just outside of the cavern. A lot of it runs through there, but some of it also runs through something known as Russet Well. It goes a little bit further, just down there. Russet Well, it's a locally famous well because it hasn't run dry in recorded history. So you can say this well is doing pretty well for itself. And that is a very good joke. Cheers for that round of applause. If you want to go see it, basically, well, you can do. As you're going down the gorge outside of the cavern, to the right hand side you'll see there's a bit of water coming out of the wall there, just underneath this old lady's back garden. That's it. I can't make that sound any more exciting than it is. So, there you go. Now, if you want to take a photo of the muddy hole with a slide in it, feel free to. Any questions you may have, anything whatsoever that you've noticed that I haven't pointed out to you, feel free to just ask away, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be about the cabin, by the way. Personal issues you want to go through, I'm here for you.
Back there, there's sort of, it looks like constructions. I don't know if it's being built up on the rocks.
Rock towers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just like that one up there.
Yes.
So during winter, it gets very quiet. And because of that, we get very bored.
See.
So we build them. There's about 40 of them currently. We're aiming to get to about 100 at the end of the year.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Probably won't happen, but...
Are there bats down here?
Are there bats?
Yeah.
I have been asked this a couple of times. I don't think there's any bats. Mainly because, well, not in here.
Light, I suppose.
There won't be any in here. Due to the fact that we do lock, there's a gate that we lock. We won't be able to get in. But there's also the fact that, obviously nocturnals, we come down there in the day, so they'd hate us. In the entrance, we have jackdaws. So big black birds that look like crows but aren't. And they're nesting at the minute. See eggs on the floor all the time.
Yeah, we could hear something.
They're very active at the minute, in the sense of, I think they've gone to a curry house a few too many times, if you get what I mean. So yeah, as you go back through, maybe don't look up with your mouth open. No, get a couple of voles and things like that. No bats though.
Yeah.
Could be completely wrong though. But I've never seen them.
No.
So this line, on the way back to the left-hand side here, you can see there's quite a lot of engravings along the wall. A lot of them, they've kind of been washed out over time. Mainly because with it being limestone, it's obviously porous and soft, so the water even in the air can eat away at it slightly.
Yeah.
So you're left with just what looks like scribblings of a madman. And then you come up to here. It's a little bit more legible, but I don't think it's Victorian. It says Kelly there. Unless the name back then was Kelly. Fair enough. But,
Yes, up there, yes.
Store markings. Could class the Victorians a bit like dogs. They like to mark the territory and then tell all the mates. The best stone statue that's in here, we'll see. Let's go on that one. a big long rock and then it's kind of leaning on two otherwise. I don't know how they built that one.
Yes, it is balanced.
It's very balanced. Believe it or not, a couple of months ago now, so the quarry down the road, Tarmac or whatever it's called, I keep changing the name, they were blasting. I mean, you feel it every now and again down here. It shapes through, but I think they were that close one time it knocked one of them over. Slightly worrying. How close are we? We've got that, and then at the entrance, this is mainly, so at the entrance of the cavern, we've obviously got the big cliff face. Cliff face? Okay, buddy. So during winter, obviously a lot of water's in there, it freezes up and thaws out, and that kind of eats away at the stone. With the jackdaws and the blasting, you get a couple of loose rocks. Yeah, they do bounce if they hit the right spot.
Yeah. I suppose the trouble with the blasting is if there's a flaw in the rock,
That's
it
it.
can cause quite a bit of damage. Having worked in the quarry business once upon a time, it was a constant problem.
Yeah.
You blast and suddenly a face would just fall into the hole.
Yeah, I live over in Dove Holes, we've got Cemex quarry behind there. During sort of lockdown, I went for a lot of walks around it, and one day we heard like the air siren thing that they do, and then you just saw it all fall.
Yes.
It was mental. Probably shouldn't have been that close, but no.
It does happen, you know. It used to be a constant problem.
Yeah. So this above you here, this is another haven. Shooting up, this one. It's the tallest one that's down here actually. Quite high up. Again, this is just water shooting up through the stone. It's put under that much pressure. Yeah. A little bit more right along here as well. This one here. I know this one. This name is scribbled all throughout the cave system, all throughout what we go down.
Yeah.
There is a story behind it all. I can't remember it, but I know that there's a lot of the same name brings somewhere. Again, to get to the, what's it? I'm going to not remember the name of it now. The orchestral platform. It's just up here. So you see, there's a bit of a staircase shooting up that way. And that goes round there, and that'll take you to the platform. It's a bit rickety. I have been up it myself. It's not really a staircase, it's more just a slide. Now then, before we go through, I'm just going to check where these school children are. So if you give us 1 second. Okay. We should have time to get through.
Okay. Okay.
Or get swarmed. Just take your time. Watch your head.
When you lay your coffee